Let's be honest, pretty much everything you own at some point lived in a metal box on a giant ship. But what happens when that whole global system of boxes and ships just grinds to a halt? Well, today, we're going to look inside one of the planet's biggest logistical hubs to ask a really big question. Can AI actually fix our broken supply chains? Okay, so what you're looking at here is the port of Busan in South Korea. This isn't just a port. It's a sprawling city of steel containers, gigantic cranes, and ships as big as skyscrapers. It is the invisible engine that moves the stuff that powers our entire world. I mean, the scale is just mind-boggling, a physical web of commerce that never, ever sleeps. But here's the thing. This incredible system is also incredibly fragile. Over the last few years, it has been stretched, stressed, and in some cases, it's just plain broken down. And that means delays, shortages, and higher prices for all of us. So the big bet here isn't on building more docks or bigger cranes, it's on smarter technology. To really get what they're trying to do, we first have to understand just how critical Busan is in this whole global puzzle. So this chart tells a really interesting story. Busan isn't just a simple place where ships drop stuff off. Yeah, it's the 7th busiest container port in the world, which is a huge deal on its own. But look at that second bar. It's the planet's 2nd busiest transshipment port. What does that mean? Well, think of it like a massive highway interchange for the ocean, where containers from one giant ship get sorted and moved onto another to get to their final destination. It's the ultimate logistics hub. So, as you can imagine, with a port this important, any little hiccup can send massive ripples all across the globe. And lately, those hiccups have been coming thick and fast. You know, ports everywhere are dealing with a perfect storm right now. First, you've got these completely unpredictable global events, pandemics, trade disputes that make it almost impossible to know what's coming next. Then, on top of that, environmental rules are getting way stricter, pushing ports to cut emissions and clean up their act. And third, there's just this massive pressure to go digital, because the old paper and pencil way of doing things, it just can't keep up anymore. So, how in the world does Busan start to fight back against all this chaos? Well, they decided that to manage the real port better, they first needed to build a perfect virtual one. The heart of their whole strategy is this idea called a digital twin. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a super realistic live-action video game of the entire port. It's an exact virtual copy, constantly fed with real-time data that mirrors every single ship, every container, every crane, and every truck. This doesn't just let operators see what's happening right now, it lets them simulate and predict what's going to happen next. And this diagram here, it shows you exactly how all the pieces connect. The system is built to perfect 3 main things. First, ship arrivals, so they spend less time waiting out at sea. Second, that complex dance of cranes and vehicles inside the terminal itself. And finally, the flow of trucks coming in and out to stop massive traffic jams on land. It's basically a single, unified brain for the whole port. And get this isn't some futuristic PowerPoint slide. This is the actual interface that operators are using right now. On the left, you can see them tracking a ship's real-time location, its speed, even its CO2 output. And then on the right, they can zoom right in and check the status of a single crane. It is literally a god's eye view of the entire operation. Okay, so a virtual port is a really cool idea. But does it actually work? Let's talk results and see if this huge investment is actually paying off. Now, before we get to the immediate payoff, we have to talk about the sheer scale of this vision. This project we're talking about is just one part of a massive long-term plan. We're talking about $9.5 billion to create a fully AI-powered automated port by the year 2045. So the results we're about to see are incredible, but they're really just the first step. And here it is, the first jaw-dropping number. By using AI to predict arrival times and optimize schedules, the port saw a 79% improvement in ships being on time. In a world where we've all gotten used to supply chain delays, that is an absolute game changer. For a small business owner, that's the difference between having products on the shelf and having an empty store. And it's not just the ships. The whole port just runs better now. They saw a 17% jump in overall work efficiency. That means containers are moving faster, equipment isn't sitting around idle, and the entire system can handle more cargo with way less friction. And here's the kicker, where the rubber really meets the road. This isn't just about moving things smoothly. All these optimizations are generating an extra $7.3 million in direct revenue every single year. The technology is already paying for itself. So what does all this mean for the big picture? I mean, what Busan is doing really gives us a sneak peek into the future of how everything moves around the world. Let's just put this on a timeline to see where it's all going. The digital twin platform went live back in 2022. Now they're starting new development to expand it even further. And the endgame, a totally automated AI-run terminal by 2045. So you see, this digital twin is just the foundation for a revolution that's going to play out over decades. Oh, and remember that whole environmental problem we talked about earlier? Well, this system tackles that head-on. Just by optimizing how ships move and cutting down how long they sit there idling, the platform is expected to slash harmful air pollutants by a massive 33%. It's proof that you can be more efficient and more sustainable at the same time. And that really brings us to the final big thought. What Busan has done here is create a blueprint. They've proven that AI and digital twins can bring order to chaos, they can boost revenue, and they can help protect the environment. So the real question isn't if this technology works anymore. It's what happens when it scales. If one smart port can do all this, what could a globally connected network of them, all speaking the same digital language, actually achieve? That could be the key to building a global supply chain that's finally ready for the future.